Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it is me, Dr. Earl, along with Prince Sido once again. It's going to be us for this episode of Music Maniacs on this evening. Paul 3 is unable to make it. He is with his wife taking care of some stuff there. And YR, he's somewhere else doing whatever the heck he wants. So I guess right now it is myself and Prince Sido, as I stated. So Prince, how you doing this evening? Everything good?
Everything's good, man. Everything's good. I'm glad to carry the show as we did. If you
hmm
didn't check out our last show, which was what was it? This past Friday,
This was
I think it was. We did a show.
it was on this past I think it was on this Monday, I believe it was.
Yes.
Yes.
Make sure you
Yes.
guys go watch that. That was a great conversation we had, talking about what's going on in the environment of the community.
hmm
So make sure you go watch that one too. And tonight we're going to be doing Music Maniacs as we promised. And then next Wednesday, tune in right again, and we're going to be doing our wrestling
Yeah,
Maniacs, guys. We got a lot
WrestleManiacs
of stuff
makes a
coming up.
comeback as well there. We're going to be talking about all things pro wrestling that's going on at the moment, including what's going on with
And then
the return of
new
Test of the
announcement.
Body.
Sorry, Earl, to cut you off. New announcement because we're gonna try to give you guys through the weeks some good stuff because we've been on a hiatus because some of our co-stars are busy and
Well, one of our
doing their own thing.
co-stars
But
basically, one in
I have
particular.
some ideas. So right after this Wednesday, guys, coming up with
Mhm.
our wrestling music maniac. Next Thursday, we'll be right back here. Yes, right back here. Me,
Mhm.
Earl, will be right back here for movie. We have to continue our movie maniacs. So this week, as of today, we're going to do as tonight, as promised. We're doing a music maniacs. Tune in Wednesday, coming Wednesday
Yeah.
for wrestling maniacs, and then tune again this uh coming up Thursday. Next Thursday, we will be doing our music. I mean, not music. Movie maniac
Movie
talk.
Madness.
Movie mat. Yes, that's what I meant to say.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
that's what me and Ark Noya was doing back in 2020 when we first started working together. Any movies you want to talk about for this coming episode?
Uh, since we're in the holiday spirit, let's talk about our Christmas movies. I would go with one of my favorite and everyone's favorite Christmas movie, Home Alone. Home Alone 1 and 2. I'll start with that since we're in the holiday spirit. And besides that, I think we're going to be heading into Christmas, so we might as well give the people what they want since we're in the holiday spirit.
Let's
Let's talk
see
about
what
some
we
Christmas
got.
movies.
Let's see
I
what.
love The Grinch. Who doesn't love The Grinch?
Yeah, we always talk about the Grinch all the time, man. Now let me look
Love
on
The Grinch.
the calendar here because no, that's a calculator. What I'm talking about, calendar, blah blah blah. Because if I'm correct, Christmas is supposed to be next Tuesday, I think it is. Let me see if I can find it, man. There it is. Now, Christmas Day is on the 25th, which is next Wednesday. So, most
Oh
likely,
wow.
yeah. So, if we ever do, so I guess the following day when we do our movie madness, we'll probably have to spotlight the different subjects. So, possibly, maybe a film series. We were supposed to do that, but definitely we gotta definitely talk about all the film series that are out there, whether it's Friday the 13th, Halloween, Star Wars, Harry Potter, all the Transformers. There's so many out there. It's like God knows which one which. So we like to talk about. I figure we use this opportunity to acknowledge all the movies within these series, whether it's even some that about three, whether it's The Exorcist or the even some that never really saw the light of day, but still are acknowledgeable, like The Crow. There were a couple other Crow movies that came out just as well. Who cannot forget City Angels, which came out in 1997. And
Right.
of course, we cannot forget, the Carrie movie series,
Right.
because there was the original, there was the TV movie, there was Carrie 2, which came out in 99, and there was the 2013 remake.
Right.
So next thing we got to talk about the all-time film series, definitely on the next Movie Maniac show, which will be this next Thursday of next week. So definitely tune in that for that, ladies and gentlemen. And the plus, if we're going to do a WrestleManiacs, we're going to have to possibly wait until possibly, or maybe we could possibly record our WrestleManiacs episode earlier on in the day, or maybe possibly do it another time. Because, like I said, this coming Wednesday is Christmas Day, and we're all going to be occupied. We got my niece over for the time being, and she's going to be arriving throughout the weekend. We're going to be hanging together, doing things. Couple of friends that my sister know they're going to be popping over to hang for a while on that day. So we're going to be pretty much occupied on Christmas Day, no doubt
Same
about
as
that.
well. I'm gonna be going to friends' houses, eating good food,
Hmm.
exchanging gifts. A
All
lot
right,
is planned.
all right there. So we'll have to
And then
arrange.
I have a flight to catch right after Christmas Day. Got to
Mm.
go to New York for New Year's. So
So I
I'm
get
gonna be booked to the freaking moon.
definitely find. Let's see if you can find Famov Candace, do some selfies with him, and definitely post them in the group chat here. In fact, I'll probably let him know that Prince is going to be coming on. Hey Ken, Prince Ido's to be coming your way for New Year's Eve, so definitely get him on board your show on sometime soon, man. Like
Yeah, I'll
you
be in
did
New
with
York. If
Tommy
he's
and
ever, but
C27.
I'm gonna be trying to. I'm gonna have to bundle up because it's gonna be cold as balls in New
It
York.
is,
'Cause
it
I'm gonna
is,
try to catch
man.
the ball drop too when I'm out there.
I definitely wear a lot of warm gear, without a doubt.
It's gonna be cold as the hell up there.
Exactly. I
Because
mean,
I'm actually going up north I'm go back home to Canada to see my uncle
mm,
and family, and then I'm
ah,
going to have drive. We're going to drive down to New York. I mean, we're going to go, from Canada to Buffalo to visit my
ah,
aunt, and then from Buffalo, New York, we're just going to go straight into the
mm.
city when it's time for the ball to drop. So we're going to enjoy that. I know we are, but it's going to be cold as I don't know what.
All right, there. So definitely, no doubt about that. We're going to be
We got a lot planned.
we got a lot
I
of
hope
plans.
25
So
is.
all the
I'll make sure I record a drone if I see one. I'll be hearing all those drones too.
all right.
All right, let's get into it, guys. Let's give
Okay,
me the music.
so one of the first things we're gonna talk about, of course, as everybody knows, Iron Maiden drummer Nico McBrain officially retired from touring after their gig in Sao Paulo, Brazil, a couple of weekends ago. He made the announcement on the Saturday prior to that gig taking place that he'll be officially retiring from touring with Iron Maiden. Now, the management of Iron Maiden, Rod Smallwood and Andy Taylor, they already have some things set up for him to do, involving Iron Maiden, obviously. Now,
Mhm.
usually when somebody makes the announcement of retire from touring, it's usually from some sort of a medical condition, but they're still with the group, like Glenn Tipton is with Judas Priest. As you all know, for the past few years, he's had Parkinson's disease, which because of that, he is unable to tour with the priesthood. So in his spot,
Oh wow.
guitarist and producer Andy Sneap has been doing the fill-ins for those live shows they've been doing for the past couple of years.
Okay.
Now, Mick Mars, as you know, he's I guess he's been former Motley Crue guitarist since his announcement for retiring from touring, but he never stated that he was retired from Motley Crue. Is Motley Crue made that decision. Once you retire from the road, you retire from the crew altogether, which I
Wow.
think was a pretty bogus thing to do because right now, for how many months since that news went down, it has been Team Mick from the majority of crew heads out there. I mean, don't get us wrong, John
Good.
Five is an excellent guitar player, but still, credit to Mick. He said one time, he carried the Bastards for how many years and didn't receive that much credit for it. But he came up with some outstanding riffs and solos with that group for many years.
That is true because he is the oldest in that group. He did carry those bastards.
Yes, in fact,
If it
here's
wasn't for
some,
him, they would even have the success they had
let alone
because
the
Nikki
name.
Six can't play bass.
Yeah,
Nikki Six is a horrible bass player. I'm sorry, Nikki Six, you fucking suck. And I love Motley Crue. This is coming from me. I love Motley Crue. But Nikki Six, you're not that great. Great songwriter. I'll give you that. One of the greatest songwriters when it comes to bass, dude. You are not that good of a bass player. You even said it yourself in the book called The Dirt, which I
Hmm.
own and watched the movie. You're not that great of a bass player. Uh, give all credit to
John
Vince Neil.
Five,
I love
Vince Neil.
Vince. Always have, always will. Incredible voice. One of the greatest drummers behind Motley Crue. Tommy
Tommy
Lee, you
Lee.
crazy bastard. Love you
Hmm.
too. But when it comes to talent, I would say the talent was with Mars, Tommy, and Vince. I can't sit there and say as a musician, Nikki Six is a great bass player. I'll be dumb to sit there and say that because he couldn't play bass at first.
He actually
But
started
when
out
it
on
comes to
guitar.
songwriting, he can write.
Hmm.
He can write some great lyrics.
I think he writes on the guitar because that's where he started playing. He started out as a guitar player, and I guess they needed a bass player, and he stole this guitar from the music shop. But the thing
Yeah, I
was, it
know.
was a
That's why I said
regular
he
guitar.
is not that good of a bass player. I don't know who's out here saying, "Oh, he's one of the no." Hell no. I would be dumb to sit here and say he's he's a great bass player. Oh no, we can't do that. We
But
can't do that.
obviously, because I don't know, for some reason, he's one of those guys that probably just plays a one note throughout the whole song or a couple more, and they're like it did with Looks That Kill, or maybe the song Shot at the Devil,
You
or
know who's a
maybe 10
great bass
Seconds
player
to
in my
Love.
opinion?
Ooh.
Not to cut you off, Earl. One of my favorite bass players is from Guns N' Roses, Duff McKagan.
Mm.
That's what you call a bass player.
Oh yeah. Well, let's not forget all the other great bass players out there, whether it's Flea from the Chili Peppers, Bill
Yeah.
Laswell, who I
Yes.
highly recommend you check it out sometime soon, or maybe Geezer Butler, who not only did some great bass lines, but also the lyrics of some of those early Sabbath records.
Right.
And we, of course, cannot forget the two main ones, Lemmy Kilmister and Cliff Burton.
Right.
And the current bass player of Metallica, Robert Trujillo, he's a damn good bass player just as well. He's able to channel Cliff perfectly when they do
Right.
Amnesia,
Right.
when they do that bass solo section there many times in the concert, as well as the Orion piece. But
Right.
it's just the idea that now
Right.
going back to Nickel McBrain, it doesn't state if he has a condition or something like that, but he said he's going to be involved in various Iron Maiden related projects. I don't know if it's overseeing the band's management or merchandise, such and such, or whatever it was. But the new drummer for Iron Maiden next year, when they kick off their Run for Your Lives tour, is going to be Simon Dawson. Now, for those who do not know who Simon Dawson is, he is the drummer for Steve Harris's side project, British Lion. Now, British Lion has released a few records along the way there. They have done a few shows here in the States, mostly in small venues, because, like I said,
Right.
it's a small project. But of
Right.
course, he's going to be drumming, and right away, some people are speculating that this is a bad move. Do you think so?
It is. It was. It is a bad move because normally, oh man, normally I don't know why original lineups. I remember going off what YR saying there was a problem with another band that had a problem. I think was it the lead singer
Hmm.
got into a fight with what's his name recently. Well, not a couple months ago.
I
YR
know. Well,
mentioned that one of the
when I'm done
shows
with the
he
show,
saw.
I'm
Say
doing it.
again.
Hold on. I'm doing it. We okay. We will. No. But it'll probably be in less than an hour from now. All right. That was my sister. Sorry about that. Go ahead. What was the band that had issues with the singer?
That show that YR went to, and the lead singer, I guess he was drunk and he got into it with the guitar player or drummer,
Mm.
I think it was.
Oh, you mean Jane's Addiction? I don't think you ever
Yeah,
saw it.
yeah,
I don't.
that's
I
what I'm
don't know if.
talking about. A
I
lot of
don't
the
think he ever
lineups,
saw Jane's Addiction live. I don't know about that. He saw every other band, but I don't know about Jane's Addiction. But there was that issue That's probably was
Yes.
one of the big issues right there. That people are still
Yeah.
talking about that today because it was like boom, unexpectedly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Why is a lot of these band lineups, original lineups, are just going out of style? But um, I think the only band that had a huge feud was Guns N' Roses. But now we see Guns N' Roses only like what, three members of the band still
Yes.
going,
Yes.
Dove, Slash, and Axel. But
Yeah.
the original lineup's not there. That's not
Well,
the original
because
lineup.
well,
They need
because
Steven.
well, Steven Adler is not gonna. He only made a couple appearances with the band during their
And where's Izzy,
2016
the
tour.
bass player,
Well,
the rhythm
Izzy's
player?
gone. He's like he's disappeared. He probably was wanted to stay out of the spotlight. It's figured best that he do so because he had a lot of gripes about touring at large venues and everything else. He had gripes about Axel being like this, being like that. He had gripes with Slash being fucked up as he was on the liquor and the drugs and everything else. Same thing with Duff. I mean, like when Izzy apparently was the one who got sober during that Use Your Illusion tour, and to him, he stated in an interview that it's not exactly fun hearing the crowd call bullshit, bullshit over and over when the singer is late. Remember, Axel had a big reputation for being late at his own shows.
But let me guess, he's still doing that, isn't he?
I do not know for exactly. It's been about how many years. Maybe Axel straightened up his act. Apparently he got a lot of therapy. He was got a lot of self, lot of worked on a lot of issues from his childhood there because he had a whole bunch of those. But
Right.
Steven Adler, he'll probably never be back full time with the band because of what he did with Axel's wife. Everybody knows about it. He apparently got involved with Axel's wife at the time, Erin Everly. Apparently they had sex,
Oh,
and then
shit.
get this, he shot her up with what is called a speedball. Now you heard of that? It's a mixture of
Yes, yes.
heroin and
Back in the day,
cocaine.
yeah, they did a lot of that back in the day.
Yes, and this is the same thing that killed John Belushi a couple years earlier. Now, Axel found out about that. He definitely threw Steven out of the group himself.
But
You don't
that's
do.
not the first. That's not the first time. Axel went there and did that first to Steven. Remember, for Rocket Queen, he fucked Steven's girlfriend for Rocket Queen.
Mm. But then
And he
again,
actually microphoned the studio for that. Remember, that's how they
yes,
got the song Rocket Queen, because
yes, I
that was
remember.
Steven Adler's girlfriend that he fucked, and she became the Rocket Queen. So Axel, you threw the first shot at Steven, and then you gonna sit there and get mad for him doing the same to you? Nah, bro.
But then again,
So
everybody was
what
bad.
goes around comes around. That's what I have to say about
But
that. What goes around
everybody
comes around.
was. Sorry about the cough. Is still having that issue. But everybody was banging one another within those bands, whether it's Rat, Dokken, Guns N' Roses, or whichever LA band that's out there and thriving at the moment. A lot of that
Right.
shit was going on left and right, right and left. So, like, plus the drinking, plus the drugging, you name it.
Correct.
So it's probably to see why the Sunset Strip around that area was like the party capital of the whole world. Plus, of all the
It's
bands are
because
out there.
back then, I think back then everyone was on drugs, and everyone was getting horny and horny. You know what I'm saying, doing drugs,
Hmm.
and
Girls were
if you
accessible,
think
no
about it,
doubt about it.
Erin Everly. I'm not condoning Stephen, but Erin Everly, she was a beautiful woman. So
She was.
do you blame Stephen? Do you blame him? I mean, he said Axel got smitten with my girl, so I can't get smitten with his.
Mm, that's true there.
You know,
Yeah, like I said, there was a lot of the
a lot of
backstabbing
tension in the
fucking
band.
going
A lot
on
of
there.
tension in the band. Yeah, a lot of tension back
Yeah,
then.
but
But
now,
that's what drugs would do to you. Makes you go crazy.
hmm yeah, of course, people didn't realize that at the time. I mean, like when you look at Todd Crude from the band Jet Boy, he OD'd, which inspired
Yep.
GNR to do their version of Bob Dylan's Hem Knocking on Heaven's Door, which to this day is considered a GNR live tradition.
Yes.
But yet people at that time really couldn't. They didn't really want to stop because they just enjoyed it too much. Now,
Right.
of course, Iron Maiden don't really condone drug use in their lyrics, let alone on stage. I remember a few times where Bruce Dickinson went off on someone in the crowd for smoking weed during their shows a couple times. Now, Iron Maiden also donated royalties from some of their 12-inch singles in UK to an organization called Kick the Habit, which is an anti-drug organization to get people off heroin and any other drugs out there. And he also said in
Right.
interviews that they know that their fans will know the right to say no.
Right.
So basically, Iron Maiden never really condoned the drug use altogether.
Right.
Now, Simon Dawson, you think you said he is not a good choice for a drummer.
No, no. I only say that because um I like the like I'm a stickler for original lineup in the band. I am.
Mhm.
And if you bringing a new guy into the band, I just don't like it because it's not them. It's not the original lineup. It's not what we
Actually,
grew up on.
actually, believe it or not, the I think you're referring to the classic lineup: Bruce Dickinson, Dave Murray, Adrian Smith, Nickel McBrain, Steve Harris. That is considered the long-running standard classic lineup of Iron Maiden that we knew from the 80s up to the 90s there. The
Yeah.
original lineup of Iron Maiden goes way further back to 1977. It was mostly Steve Harris and a bunch of other blokes. And that was way back in 76, 77. So
Right.
chances are it was not the original. You have to go way back for the original Iron Maiden.
Right.
So I think what we're referring to is the classic lineup that we already know, like the classic lineup of Motorhead. There were
Right.
a couple other lineups of Motorhead prior to Lemmy getting in Filthy Animal Taylor and Fast Eddie Clark on board. That would be the classic Motorhead lineup that we know by heart.
Right.
So and plus the classic lineup of Judas Priest. Judas Priest started actually around 1969. It was originally apparently it was Ian Hill, the bass player, and I guess either Glenn Tipton and then either KK Downing joined in, and the original lead singer was actually Al Atkins prior to Rob Halford joining the group. I could find it on Google Images and put it in the Skype chat if you like, or better yet, look up Judas Priest 1975, 1974 or 1973 when it was a four-piece with a different drummer. Chris Campbell was his name. Give me a couple of seconds. Let me close the door. All right. Sorry about that. Um, our little doggy came in through the door here, and he left it open. He wanted to say hi and such and such. And let's see what we got here on the Skype chat. Blah blah blah. Give me a couple of minutes here. All right. All right. So we got a little message from Carlos Cabral. What have we got here? Live by our show. Hmm.
Oh,
Let's see here.
happy holidays.
Happy holidays, Carlos. Hey, Carlos, want to join the call with us by chance?
Yeah, you can come and stop by and speak your piece and what you know. We'd love to hear from you.
All right, dear. Let me text him, add you, Carlos, to the call there. Give a couple of minutes. Me and Prince are live right now. See what he says. Hope he are live right now. Okay, I'm going to put this in here. Let's see what he says. I'd like to get him on the call. It's been a while since we spoke to him. And this was on a, by the way, a different chat. Let's see what we got here. Mm. All right, never mind. That was a fluke of a thing here. Okay, okay. Oh, let's get a call. Okay, he says okay. Let's get Carlos on the call here. Give me a couple of seconds here. Blah 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 blah. In the meantime, if you had your choice instead of Simon Dawson, who would you like to have a drum for Iron Maiden?
Uh, that's a good question because I don't know many drummers. I
British,
really don't.
U.S. Who knows? Who knows, man?
Who
Oh,
knows?
who knows there? Because there are many drummers. You think maybe the drummer for Dream Theater or somebody to fill in, I guess. Maybe.
Maybe so. Maybe so. I like that. I like that idea. I
Hmm.
like that idea instead.
So I'm thinking maybe, according to the statement here, he's going to be Nico McBrain's going to be still involved with Iron Maiden related projects, just probably not performing live. We'll have to wait and see. In the meantime, I'm going to try and get Carlos on the call. And one thing I want to get to is something that we've been seeing a lot of lately: artists selling their catalogs. Now, for the record, Iron Maiden owns the rights to their catalog. All the albums that they issued from 1980 on up now, they're still they're still owned and ran by Iron Maiden or Iron Maiden Holdings Limited, as it's called there on the old record labels I used to see many times on the cassette copies of their albums. Now, with all the artists out there, Fleetwood Mac's catalog being purchased by BMG overseas, Pink Floyd selling their catalog to Sony Music for how many thousands of dollars.
Not a good idea.
Mhm. And the thing now, the thing that got me is that the sale of the Pink Floyd catalog was delayed for a couple of years because of Roger Waters. Roger
Right.
Waters had to run his mouth talking about the Ukrainian situation, talking about how he opposes why he's taking the side of the Russians against Ukraine, or saying that that fight was not fight was provoked by the Ukrainians, such and such. In fact, he basically got himself labelless at the moment. BMG, he was under that distribution for a past couple of years, and because of
Welcome,
the
Carlos Cabral. Welcome.
Carlos,
Welcome.
That's me.
hey Carlos, how's it going, man? How's it hanging?
I'm good. Just busy working. It's I just got home, so I was about to help a friend reactivate his Boost Mobile account. So I said, "Oh, I haven't checked in Skype in a minute." So I pressed Skype, and I saw almost 50 unanswered messages.
Oh wow.
I said,
Wow.
"Okay, well, most of them is from YR." So I'm
Mm.
like, "God damn, I've been out of Skype for that long."
Pretty much, yeah. It's been a while since we heard from you. I think the one time last time that were on the call together was back when you were doing that show with when you called in to confront Jacob RP and RP left like the bitch that he is.
Yeah, I think that was before the hurricane.
Yeah, way before the hurricane, I believe so. Actually, may have been last year, if I remember. We were discussing the Palestine Hamas situation over there in
Yes.
Israel.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
And we also had that great show with
Fast
Sean
forward now.
Zu,
Look where we
Prince,
are, man.
SC.
Look where we are. It's
Yep,
crazy, ain't it?
it is.
Crazy, man. Woo, man. It's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah. I'm out of the dirty sector, so I'm just covering the Jay Z situation, the Diddy situation.
Mm.
So
Yeah, what are your
It's a lot
thoughts?
going on.
I know it's a lot going on. Me and Prince were talking about it earlier this
on
week
Monday.
about what's going on. We're talking about the healthcare CEO being murdered and everything that's related to that.
All these drones being spotted. It's
Hmm.
just
Or if they're
Yeah,
it's a
really
like
lot
drones, if
going
they're
on.
not UFOs.
aliens, like literally possible aliens.
Hmm. Of course, we're on the
It's a
call
So
right
lot.
now talking about copyrights, catalogs being sold left and right. What you thought about all these acts selling their shares, showing the shares of their music, their stock to all these companies? I know KK Downey with his share of Judas Priest, and you also let's not forget Nancy Wilson of Heart. She sold her share for a big specific amount of money. And I remember when I brought it up to YR on one of our shows, he said that me, these artists are not having, they're not really releasing albums nowadays because hardly anybody's buying their records now. And so they got to have something to fall back on in terms of financial help. Now, what are your thoughts about this, Carlos? Do you think it's a good idea to have somebody else own your music?
somebody else running the music.
Yeah, your music that you wrote by yourself or with the other band members, which is you considered your children. I mean, I've questioned about the whole thing myself. I mean,
Not
a
to me.
Kiss,
The answer is no, bro. I will just, hey, it's my music. I own the rights. I'm not gonna let somebody else use my music unless they pay for it.
that's true there. They got to get with. I know King Crimson are the same way, especially Robert Fripp. He had a lot of issues with copyrights before with his old label, EG Records. And I guess he bought back the entire King Crimson early catalog from the 70s and 80s. And I guess he still holds on to those recordings. Which is why those albums get reissued, 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 remastered, and everything else. Now, Pink Floyd's catalog, the thing I want to know is you may remember back along about a couple years ago, there was a remix version of their album Animals, which goes back to 2018 that didn't officially come out till about 2023 or 2022. And the reason for that was because of the issues between Roger Waters and David Gilmour. In fact, even drummer Nick Mason even mentioned these are two old gentlemen, fighting like children over the smallest of things. In fact, we were pointing out that the delay of the Pink Floyd sales of their catalog, I meant to say, was because of some of the words that Roger Waters been speaking out and opposed to the Ukrainian side. He's been supportive of Russia going after Ukraine, whereas everybody else has been vice versa. In fact, who cannot forget the song Hey Hey Rise Up that Pink Floyd put it out a year ago, featured that one Ukrainian singer on the vocals. But what
True, true.
yeah, but then again, let's not forget Roger Waters has been very politically active in a lot of things. It's just that, however, it's getting to the point now where people are throwing their hands up in the air and saying, Roger, we understand your political views, but you need to put them aside and concentrate on making music. Because a lot of things you've been saying as of late have been getting you in deep trouble. He got called out by David Gilmour's wife, Polly Sampson, in the tweet. And of course, she called him, egotistic, nostalgic, arrogant, this and that. Like, come on. But then again, that's Roger Waters for you. You may remember during his big beef with Pink Floyd in the 80s, he kept saying in interviews that he was the main reason why Pink Floyd were successful as they were around that period. Whereas Gilmour, Mason, and many other people saying, no, you're not. It's all four of you guys, not just you. So with Pink Floyd now selling their catalog, it's like now Kiss also did the same thing with their catalog, their name, their likeness, and everything else. And we're supposed to get a AI avatar version of Kiss in some of the concert venues or small arenas or whatever it's called, theaters. I'm not too sure. This is all talk that I've heard about a few times. Now, the thing I have with other artists having their view, the thing I here's my issue. I do not want a song like My Generation by The Who, which back then was a big middle finger to the older generation, being used in an Applebee's commercial. Or Love Hurts, the Nazareth version, being used in an ice cream commercial, features some girl crying over eating some big bucket of ice cream over some dumb reason, and turns out being an advertisement for a particular brand of ice cream, whether it's Buyers or this ice cream company, such and such and such, But that's ruining the purpose of the song, which is about having your heart broke. And probably the biggest example of all was Revolution by the Beatles, which is John Lennon calling out the anti war movement being used in a Nike
Right.
commercial. That was back in 1987. And the one who got the bows and arrows thrown at him was Michael Jackson, because as you know, at the time, he owned the rights to all those Beatles songs. But then again, I don't think, well, Michael Jackson really understood the intent of the Revolution song. In fact, Harrison, McCartney, Starr, and I guess their lawyers, took Nike to court as a result. Now, however, one thing I did think was pretty cool was when Nike used Search and Destroy by Iggy Pop and the Stooges. If you ever heard that song, Prince, Carlos, that song from Iggy and the Stooges from 1973, the album Raw Power, it's proto punk at what it's best. The whole album altogether, I should also say. That song is like I am the world's forgotten boy, the one who searches to destroy. Now, since the search and destroy attitude has been long associated with sports teams, whether it's running track, football, baseball, basketball, so it kind of seems appropriate for Nike to use that song for their ads on TV. In fact, Iggy Pop even said, if you want to use those songs for Jimmy Dean Sausage, go right ahead because they were not really successful to begin with. But then again, I just don't like the idea of one of my songs, which I personally wrote about a particular event in my life, being used as a gas station commercial. Another example, In the Air Tonight, being used for a Michelob beer commercial. We all know the intent of that song. Phil Collins writing about his divorce, his first wife divorcing him. He wrote about that in most of the album, most of the songs in the album. Face Value. Listen to that album, you know what I'm talking about. Mm. So I'm kind of like puzzled, but yet the same kind of Splitsville when it comes to selling their catalogs, because I know Kiss ain't going to be back on the road sometime soon, and I guess Carlos just left to call. Prince, you there, dude? You there? Hmm.
I'm still here. What's going on with Carlos?
I
What
know
happened?
he left. He left to call.
What?
Yeah, he just
I just went
left
to
to
the
call.
bathroom. I can't go to the bathroom, Carlos, for 5 minutes? Jeez.
Damn. I don't know what's up with that.
Sorry about that, Earl. I had to go to the bathroom.
Okay, let us know because we didn't
I
know
thought,
that.
you
I
were
usually
answering
let
Carlos'
people.
questions.
I know. I was gonna. Maybe you should probably get it back on the call, maybe, or no.
Let's continue the show.
All right, there. Well, the thing that gets me with copyrights, as I mentioned, is that these are your songs. These are your children being used for every which way than what the songs intended. So it's a way.
Right.
It's kind of like in many people's eyes, it's like selling your kids into prostitution when it comes to this trade that's been going on.
Right.
Now, keep in mind, many of these artists now who sell their music, they're going to obviously receive tons and tons of money from these publishing companies. Now,
Right.
one thing I want to bring up is the Fleetwood Mac catalog being purchased by BMG many, many months back. I think it was last year. A video on TikTok went viral of some guy on the skateboard recording himself drinking some juice, and the song Dreams by Fleetwood Mac was playing in the background. That video went viral, and as a result, BMG decided to buy up the entire the Fleetwood Mac catalog.
Right.
Now to keep in mind, the entire catalog is going to include songs that did not feature neither Lindsey Buckingham or Stevie Nicks.
Right.
This includes "Oh Well" parts 1 and 2 by the original Fleetwood Mac lineup, featuring Peter Green, rest in peace. And we also cannot forget the other lineup featuring Bob Welch on guitars and vocals. Who cannot forget the original Sentimental Lady, and of course one of their big ones, Hypnotized, which is a pretty good song. So I'm hoping maybe BMG will probably do something with those songs. In fact, it would be nice if BMG would get whichever US label that Fleetwood Mac is with. I guess is Reprise Records at the moment. Warner, Reprise. Tell Warner is to reissue those early Fleetwood Mac albums on vinyl, whether it's Then Play On, the self-titled debut, Bare Trees, Heroes Are Hard to Find, those albums. Because when we think of Fleetwood Mac, we think of the obvious two members, Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham. That's the Fleetwood Mac people know by heart. There's a Fleetwood Mac way before that, folks, so maybe this would be a good opportunity for BMG to reissue those early albums and have them on sale.
Mm. Mm.
Another example. Now, I also want to bring out something else because telling that story reminded me of my ex-girlfriend back in Detroit. She was into the band hard big time, but it had to be the 80s hard when they had the puffed up hair, dressed like Prince of the Revolution, and performed its songs that weren't really composed by them. I tried to play her stuff from Dreamboat Annie, their first record, Magazine, their second, Little Queen, Baby Lestrange. And she was like, oh, whatever. It's like, isn't that being closed minded for crying out loud?
Oh my God.
So, if Heart were to sell their catalog, maybe by chance, whichever owns their publishing rights can really have those albums reissued on vinyl just as well, because vinyl is the main thing at the moment. All those albums can be reissued for all the people can relive those memories when they first had those vinyl releases out there.
Right.
Yeah, because right
There's a
now
lady I know.
let's go.
There's a lady I know. She keeps praising the band that did what is it? The soundtrack for uh that Freddy Krueger movie, I think it is.
Which one?
Back in the
The,
day.
the band?
Back
You
in the
mean
day.
the band Dokken?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
the
yes.
song "Dream Warriors." That was from That was I think it was the third Nightmare on Elm Street movie. I think it was
Apparently, she
Dream
dated the
Warriors.
drummer from Dawkins, and that's all she ever talks about. Dawkins is a good band. You only say it's a good band because you dated the drummer. Like,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, I think that band was a horrible band.
So he wasn't big on Doc.
Dawkins, that's not a good band, bro.
Hmm.
I've seen better.
I mean, well, the thing that gets me about Dockett at the moment, obviously, is Don Dokken. He's the only original member left. You know, him and George Lynch. I know they had a little tour together, with each other's separate bands. But if Don and George were to rejoin, get the main Dokken lineup back into the fold, chances are they'll have to bring on a therapist because those two have been not. They've been well known to not see eye to eye. In fact,
Right.
I'd been mentioning on one of our early music shows, he had an all-out fight in the back of while riding in the limousine.
Mm.
Those two did not see eye to eye altogether. So it would be nice for the main Dokken to come back on the stage together. But the problem is, Don right now is not in the best of health, and I've heard it a couple times on one of their recent new songs. I
Right.
forgot the title of it, but it came out on the indie label called Frontiers Music, and it just didn't really sound right. The Don with Dokken that we already know.
Right.
Yeah,
Dawkins. She
so
tried to brainwash me with that band. I hated that band. Another band called the what's that other pop band? The
hmm.
Rat Boys. What's it called?
Rat Boys,
Rat Boys.
Brat Boys, or Beastie Boys, or whoever.
It was one of those hair bands.
You mean just the band Rat?
Pretty Boys. I think it's called Pretty Boys.
Pretty Boy Floyd.
I think that's what it's called. Pretty Boy Floyd, something like
Oh,
that.
yeah, yeah, I remember that one record they put it out, Electric Boy. It's a Pretty Boys with Electric Toys. So, that was to try to cash in on the Poison craze at that time. You remember Poison came out looking all glam and stuff, and I guess every other record label tried
Yes.
to put out
Yes.
little poisons of their own. Like they tried to do the
Yes.
same with Nirvana, Guns N' Roses. A lot of record labels would do that. That's how they roll. Cash in as much as they can. Like when New
You know,
Edition broke.
Slash was almost in
What's up?
Poison.
What? Who?
Slash was almost in Poison. He
Oh, really?
auditioned for it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but he didn't. Thank God he didn't. Thank God he didn't. Because there'd be no Guns N' Roses if he did.
That's true. But then again, there was a Guns N' Roses before Slash. They had Tracy Guns as their guitar player at one point.
Yep, they did. They
Yes,
did.
and of course, Tracy Guns later put together his band, L.A. Guns.
Yes, he did.
hmm And it's like, and gosh, I remember how it was back then when that song, Sex Action, was all over the place. The Ballad of Jane came out a year afterwards, which was a pretty good song there. A little ode to Jane Mansfield, Mariska Hargitay's mom.
Yes.
hmm All right, so I'm going to see, I'm itching to add somebody else to the call. Maybe I could get Famaf Ken if he's available.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see if I can add him to the call unexpectedly. See if he's available. It's been a while since we had him on one of our shows, so let's see if I could do this. Now, I would love to add Dave
And your
Rose, but
favorite band. We didn't mention your favorite band. Skinny fucking puppies.
yeah, that's right, Skinny Puppy, one of my favorites, yo.
Yes.
That's right, yo. Right now, the catalog on Skinny Puppy is still owned by Network Productions, which is based in Vancouver, Canada. I guess,
Right.
Kevin Key, one of their main members, he's been working for the past couple of years to get the catalog in his name, but it's still taking its time because
You gotta get yourself a skinny puppy T-shirt.
I already had one.
Okay. All
Yes, I
right.
did. I still have it.
Oh wow.
That's right.
Classic.
All right there. I still had that. I still have this. It's the same one I had back in Texas years ago. And let's see what we got here. I'm trying to see if I could get Ken, but some reason the thing's acting up. All right, there. Son of a bitch. I don't know why it's doing this.
Skinny puppy.
Yeah, you got to check out their
I like the name.
albums. Got to check out their albums, most definitely, because they were one of the kind. Check out Remission, Bites, Mind the Perpetual Intercourse. Cleanse Spoon to Manipulate them when they got me into them. Vivisex 6, Too Dark Park, The Process, Great or Wrong or Right, Myth Maker, Hanover, Weapon. That was their last one. That came out back in 2013. Now I'm going to try and add Famov Ken to the call. It's been a while since he's been on this program with us. Hoping hope he's doing good. I know I've been coughing a lot lately for some reason. I don't know. I gotta go see a doctor to see what's up with this. Maybe I haven't really recovered from this cold flu I had a couple weeks ago. But but then again, the change of weather is probably what's doing it. Because right now it's warm outside here in Florida. And I know it. How's the weather over there? Is it chilly at nighttime? Is it warm in the
Yes, it's
daytime?
cold.
And
Very cold.
oh yeah, it's cold right now. So I think that's probably has something to do with it. So most definitely when you go up to Buffalo or somewhere in New York City, definitely get a hold of Five Off Ken and let him know that you're on your way there. Maybe you could do a show together with him on his channel by chance.
If I bump into him, hopefully.
All right, there. You know what? I should probably send him a DM letting him know about this. Hey, Prince is going to be hanging out. If by chance you see him or he sees you, make him feel at home. All right, there. So
I
I
can't believe
guess
he was in Boston and he met Tony at one time.
you can't believe you
Didn't
met
he meet YR? I could have sworn he did a show with YR one time.
who Ken.
Yeah.
You know what?
They
I
had
don't
like
think
matching jerseys and everything.
I know Joe. Him and Joe YR and Joe Cronin did a show together for one of Joe's other channel, Drama God channel.
Hmm.
And I guess I know YR and SC Steve was featured on one of the episodes that Famov did a couple years back, and this was after we started working together, YR and myself.
Hmm.
So most likely
He needs to
yep,
come down to Florida and come see you. YR.
who YR, yes, definitely. My sister sent out the invitation. He's welcome to come hang out with us, most definitely.
Whenever I'm in the Florida area, I'll stop by and see about you.
All right, there, definitely. In fact, sometime when you get a hold of Carlos to see we got to meet up sometime soon. That's if he's still in the Tampa area.
He should be. He should be.
All right. All right, there. So I guess this concludes our episode of Music Maniacs for this evening. So
Yes.
Prince Otto and
By the way,
myself
before
both
we end, did you
yes.
ever hear back from Magnolia? Did anything?
No, no. I guess he's gone.
Oh,
I guess he departed for some reason. I can't really go on the whole thing for God knows how long because I'm not surely get some backlash like I did with Mars Mirror that one time. Jesus Christ, let the guy live for
look,
crying out
no, no,
loud.
no. We're not trying to bring him back. We want to make sure he's in good health. He's in good well. The last time we spoke to him, he wasn't in good health. So I'm
Yes,
gonna
I
make sure
know.
he's good. That's all I'm saying.
I know. I like to find out for myself, but unfortunately, there's no other way to get a hold of him. I tried, calling him, emailing him, and no response while together there. So I do not know what's going on. And nothing
I pray to
pisses.
God. I just pray he's good. I hope he's still kicking because the last time we spoke to him, he was not in good health. and we haven't even got a response on that.
I
So
know. I
I just
know.
hope he's still around.
I hope they're still around too, Ark. We're thinking about you. Me, Prince, Paltry, YR, and every one of us. All right, so this will conclude our episode of Music Maniacs for this evening. Myself, Prince Idol, running the helms for this particular show. Now,
And thank you,
next,
Paul Cabral, for stopping in.
mhm, and allow us to wish everybody out there watching a very Merry Christmas this coming Wednesday.
And a happy new year.
Happy New
And a
Year
happy new year.
afterwards. I'm thinking maybe it'd be a